Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Okay, we'll start in just a sec here. Let's see. Oh, got a timer going so I know how long we're flowing for. Okay. That's good. See most of me? Yes, okay. Good morning, good morning. This is Mr. B. So if you're new to my channel, this might you might be watching this later if you're out there live with me right now. Thank you for joining me. Mr. B's a little kooky, so sometimes he goes a little nuts, and he can be mostly zen for most of the class. So we'll see which we get out of him this morning. So my name is Mike. Happy Pride Weekend. This is supposed to be when we would have our Pride Parade in Toronto would be today. It's a beautiful sunny day. And because of COVID-19, we are socially distancing still and not doing, classes in studios and not doing events and not doing stuff like that, which I needed to share with you and I needed to practice with you this morning. So I'm here every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. It's normally a 60-minute journey into power flow, 60-minute Toronto time, Eastern Standard Time. And this weekend, I want to do something a little bit different. So my yoga journey, I just want to talk to it really quickly, and we will be flowing in a few minutes. And if you're taking this with me later, I promise there will be a timestamp down below if you just want to start moving, but just give me the 2 minutes of your time. Yeah. So I was overweight growing up. I was bullied a lot, right? Didn't know I was gay till I was a teenager, I would say, but I would say things some people probably knew whenever I was watching Judy Garland at 2 years old in The Wizard of Oz and singing along like every single day. So, throughout my teenage years, I was bullied. It was never like physical bullying, definitely more mental and verbal bullying. But, I never really found my personal power throughout my 20s, really a lot of my 20s. And I had friends when I was working. I was a corporate chef. I worked for big grocery store chains and stuff. And I had friends that were yoga teachers that would invite me to do yoga. And I would like laugh at them and be like, who wants to do hot yoga? That's crazy. I'm not flexible. All those stories that stopped me. And it was actually almost 10 years ago now, my partner at the time had testicular cancer. So we were together for 14 years. We broke up about a year ago. That's a whole nother story. But at the time when he was going through that, I had a bakery and I was working really long hours. And it was through that experience, that really stressful experience, that I first found meditation and really mindfulness. And I would meditate for 10 minutes to, YouTube meditations in my car before I started baking at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And it really helped ground me. And eventually, long story short, that led me into being open to doing yoga. It was about a year after my first yoga experience, which was 7 years ago. So about 6 years ago, I did my teacher's training. And really, it's this style of yoga. Yoga in general, of course, is life-changing, and it's been around for 5,000 years. But this style of yoga, Baptiste Yoga, that I teach, and you can Google Baptiste Yoga and look up all of that kind of stuff. That's the flow that I teach every Sunday is Journey into Power. It's created by Baptiste. He's got a really awesome story, and you can look that up. And I'm a certified Baptiste Yoga instructor, and it's really my passion. This sequence of poses, the Journey into Power sequence that we're going to do this morning, it's going to be the full sequence. So normally in 60 minutes, if you do the full sequence, you're moving without really stopping at all. There's no time to stop and breathe and hold poses. So it'll probably be like closer to 75 minutes this morning once we start flowing. We'll go through most of the poses, all the poses. I'm doing this from memory. I don't have like a list somewhere to try to remember. So we'll see what happens. But really what I want to land is that this practice is for everybody. So if you have been watching me for a while, you're new to my channel, you maybe think I'm like strong, yoga guy, flexible. All of that is a process, right? And definitely 7 years ago, if you told me that I was a yoga teacher on YouTube, with people giving me messages from around the world about these classes, I never would have believed you, right? I never would have thought half the stuff I can do is possible. And the way that I want to let this practice land today is that it's going to be for all levels. So as we're going through, I'm going to try to, do my best to give variations, modifications to build from the ground up so you can do whatever fits for your body and empowers you in your body to do this practice with me, okay? So, I'm going to be talking to the 3 themes of Baptiste Yoga. I'm just going to tell you what they are so you can hear the words. That is really kind of the foundation of this style of yoga. Baptiste trying to bring like the mysticism of yoga to make it more simple for people. This practice empowered me just as a human being, but really let me step into my power and my voice and my confidence that I never have experienced before, having been bullied and feeling like a victim for a lot of my life, right? So theme number 1 of Baptiste Yoga is be a yes, just showing up and being a yes for things that maybe make you uncomfortable, but that will bring growth. Give up what you must is number 2. And that, you know what it is in that moment, whenever something is there stopping you, what do you need to give up that's gonna allow you to tap into your full potential and your full power? And the 3rd theme of Baptiste Yoga is you are ready now. So it's not about I'm going to do this tomorrow, or next week I'll start doing yoga, or a few breaths from now I'll go into the biggest variation of the pose, or I'll have that hard conversation 10 years from now, before someone passes away. Do things now in this moment. You're ready for them right now. Okay, so we're going to start. That's all I wanted to say. The last thing, have a block if you think you need that. This can be like an encyclopedia. It can be a can of soup. It can be a water bottle, something to bring the floor up for your fingers. Water's not a bad idea, and a towel. And we are going to start in child's pose, the pose of the child. The beginning of this flow, we start in child's pose and we end in savasana, which is corpse pose. And yeah, it's a journey. So join me on this journey to power. Okay, so we're going to move into child's pose. The last thing you need to have is an open mind. Just be here for your body this morning. Do what you need to do. Rest when you need to, and let yourself tap into that flow. Okay, so child's pose. Your knees are nice and wide. Toes are touching. And you're going to step back onto your heels here. And start to connect to your breathing, okay? So the style of breathing that we do in this practice is ujjayi breathing, which really just means to have long breathing, audible breathing through your nose. And that sound comes from the restriction in the throat. Like imagine you're fogging up a mirror. Seems like it's natural, it's intentional. Natural. It's not like forcing, not straining the breath. Breathe in. Breathe out. Start to scan your body here a little more, like ground down the hands, press the tops of the feet. Just feel it out. Where are you tight? Where are you feeling strong, open? Integrate it into the practice, into your body, your breath. Exhale. Sit even deeper onto your heels. Press all 10 knuckles into the floor. Tabletop on your hands and your knees. And then curl your toes under. You'll lift your hips back, downward facing dog. Root down through your heels. So down dog is going to be like home base through this. Okay, we'll do lots of down dogs, and there'll be kind of a place to check back in with your body. Down dog can be rest. Down dog can be child's pose, okay? So if you're at some point in this practice, and even if it's just for 1 or 2 breaths, we hit down dog, you can come back down here and rest if you need to, right? And I say it all the time to myself and to my students in my classes that needing rest and not wanting to do work, not wanting to feel sensations or discomfort, those are different. Do the work. Don't force anything painful. Being a little uncomfortable is not the worst thing in a pose. Turn your inner ankles towards the back of your mat, like just that energetic. Outer ankles pressed down. Breathe in. Soften your joints. Make sure your knees and elbows aren't locked. Take an inhale here. Press down into the floor. Feet together, 3-legged dog. Lift your right foot up, bend your knee, open up your hips. So you're going to lift your right hip over the left. Pull your right heel down towards your left bum cheek. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. One more. Lift up and release. Switch sides. Left leg up. 3-legged dog. Open up. Press the floor. All 10 knuckles. Feel that. Electrify your hands. Ground into the earth. Lift your left knee up. Pull your left heel down. Again, breathe in. Breathe out. Last inhale here, lift the knee up, and then step to the top of your mat. Take ragdoll, so your feet are hip distance apart. Okay, grab your opposite elbows or biceps, just let your upper body go. It's a moment here, you can sway from side to side. You rest here for a moment. If you don't know Mr. B, his story is that he's a shadow chaser, and I left the window open, so he's going after the shadows over here. Just to avert that distraction. Before it happens. You're just letting go. Yeah, press your tailbone up to the ceiling. Go into your bed, buddy. Go into your bed. Lie down. Good work. Nice. And this work of release, right? So this whole practice, this journey into power, it's about tension and release. So certain poses you build up tension. You purposely do that. There's more fire. There's strength. There's intensity, right? And you sit through it. You do it. Balance it with these moments of rest, right? As much ease as you can bring to this experience. In your body, in your mind.
Yoga, this practice has the ability to start rewiring your brain, changing how you think, shifting your thinking to positivity, to the present moment instead of the past or the future, right? That's more of how this practice changed my life than the physical strength it's given me, which has also been pretty amazing. Fingertips to your mat. Bring your big toes to touch. You'll come up to a flat back. Crown of your head pulls forward. Fold. Do that one more time. Lengthen. Draw your shoulder blades, the tips of your shoulder blades onto your back. Feel that lengthening. Spine. Fold. Extended mountain pose. Press your feet down. Reach up to the ceiling or the sky. Hands to the center of your chest. Anjali Mudra. Hands at heart center. We start with an Om. Om is just the sound of creation, the hum of the earth. We use this as a way to begin the practice and end it. Okay, so take a big breath in. Gaze to your fingers. Ooh. Sweep your fingertips up and fold. Halfway lift. Lengthen your spine. Step back to a high plank and hold for a second here. So high plank, we're going to do chaturanga as a high to low plank movement. Okay, we're going to do lots of those too, just like the down dogs. Option here to drop your knees to the floor as we flow. Okay, so in high plank, take a breath in. As you exhale, you can lower down. Knees on the floor or not. Lower chest about halfway. Yeah. Upward facing dog. Draw your chest forward. Or cobra is with your thighs on the ground. Okay, this is cobra. That's up dog. Downward facing dog. Hips back. Just modifying this practice for your body. Some of you out there have done probably hundreds of classes with me, right? And then some of you this might be your first time flowing through power yoga, any yoga, who knows? It's not about doing it like me, not about getting it right. It's a practice in your body. If it empowers you, you're doing it right. If you feel less than, if you feel like you can't do something, you're not good enough, then how can you modify? What do you need to let go of, yogi, to feel strong in your own body? Lift up onto your toes. Bend your knees. Look at the top of your mat and then step there. Halfway lift. Gaze right at the floor here. And then fold. Gaze to your belly. Extended mountain. Reach up to the ceiling or the sky. Look up past your fingertips. And then fold. Look back to your navel, your belly button. Halfway lift, shoulders back, eyes at the top of your mat. Chaturanga Dandasana, high to low plank, with or without your knees on the floor. Upward facing dog, fill your lungs. Downward facing dog, take your hips back. You breathe. And your eyes to one spot between your feet. Press down into the earth. Pull your muscles to the bones. Breathe in. Pit of your belly pulls in. Tailbone back. And then come up onto your toes. Bend your knees. Look at the top of your mat and then step there. Halfway lift. Fold. Extended mountain. Reach up to the ceiling. Lengthen your fingers. Fold forward. Hug into your legs. Halfway lift. Someone's just knocked at my door and I have no idea who that is. Chaturanga Dandasana, so they're going to have to wait. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. You breathe right here. Right? The world's happening around you. There might be distractions. There might be other things going on. And come back to the breath and the physicality of your body. That's the practice of yoga. Even with a crazy dog. Right? I'm sure some of you have one of those too. Lift up onto your toes. Bend your knees. Look between your hands. Step between your hands. Halfway lift. Fold forward. Extended mountain again. Reach up to the ceiling. Keep lengthening your body. And then fold. Hug into your legs. Halfway lift. Chaturanga Dandasana. Flow with your breath. Start to feel that movement connected to breath. Upward facing dog. You fill your lungs. Downward facing dog. Take your hips back. A big breath in. And a big breath out. Ground your knuckles. Turn your inner ankles back, press down into the floor. Come up onto your toes, bend your knees, look at the top of your mat. Find that spot and then hop or step there. Halfway lift, lengthen your body. Fold. Extended mountain, keep going up and back. Lengthen, reach, and then fold. Hug into your legs. Halfway lift. Chaturanga Dandasana, flow. High to low plank, upward facing dog. Lift chest forward, downward facing dog. Take a big breath in. Press down into the floor. Inhale and exhale. Good boy, buddy. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lift up onto your toes. Look between your hands. Hop or step between your hands. Lightly land. Halfway lift. And fold. Extended mountain. Last one here. Find your biggest reach. You can find a back bend, belly strong. And then reach. Chest to thighs. Halfway lift. Chaturanga Dandasana. You're moving with your breath. The flow of breath. Upward facing. Fill your chest. Downward facing dog. Take a full breath in. Exhale, press down. Come up onto your toes. Bend your knees. Step to the top of your mat. Halfway lift. And fold. Chair pose. Sit down. Utkatasana, chair, thunderbolt. They're all the same pose, okay? Same names. About the same names, same pose, different names. Option to sink deeper here. So this is more of a thunderbolt, I feel like, and I think chair kind of takes you a little deeper into the seat. Careful your knees don't go past your toes, okay? So you can sink back a little bit. Your bum might come up. That's okay. Thunderbolt might look like this for you. Beautiful. If you've got any knee issues, I have some knee issues, some arthritis, some surgeries that I had, so just listen to it. Some days it's different than others. 5 breaths. Intentionally building some heat here. Reach up and then sink a little deeper in your seat. Breathe in. Breathe out. 2 more. Lift your fingertips. Draw your biceps back by your ears. Yes, Yogi, you got this. Take an inhale. Sink deeper in your seat. Last breath in. Fold forward. Hug your chest to your thighs. Halfway lift. Chaturanga Dandasana, you flow to move that energy. Upward facing dog, press the floor. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, warrior 1. So your right foot's at 12 o'clock, back foot just off, like at 10 o'clock. Sink down into your front knee. You modify the pose for your body. The knee can be a little further behind the ankle. Okay, but keep the hips square. So your right hip bone back, left hip bone forward. Biceps by your ears. Sink down in the front knee as far as you can. If your arms are too much, cactus them, right? Bring shoulder integration. Pull back. Inhale. If you can lunge deeper, take it. Wake up the feet. Press the outer edge of the back foot down. Couple more. Inhale. And exhale. Last one. Lengthen your whole upper body. Chaturanga Dandasana, plant your hands, step back, high plank, lower down, low plank. If you can float your toes, add it. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, hips back. Left side, step your foot forward. Ground down into your feet. Sink down into your front knee, okay? So take the left hip bone back, sink down. Wherever you can find the lunge, just feel it and then breathe into it. Don't get fixated on it looking a certain way. It's more about the energy in the body. Can you go deeper? You know if you can. You don't have to look and find out. Drishti, gaze, present, steady at one spot. 2 more. In. Press your feet. Last one. Lengthen the upper body long. Chaturanga Dandasana. Plant your hands. Option is to float those toes as you lower down. Upward facing dog. Chest forward. Downward facing dog. You breathe. As your body starts to warm up, the heat, that tapas as we call it in Sanskrit, that's one of the tools you can use, right? If there's room for more heat, if you're bored, it's dull, you're distracted, do more work, yogi. You'll get more present. If you're like too present, muscles screaming, burning, shaking, like exhausted, then that's a cue too. You do less work, less fire. Cool down, yogi. Do the work that fits. Doesn't have to match exactly what I'm doing. Probably won't. Lift up onto your toes. Bend your knees. Look between your hands. Step forward. Halfway lift. And fold. Chair pose. Just be a yes for the deepest chair you've got. It's one breath. And then folds. Hug into your legs. Halfway lift. Chaturanga Dandasana. Flow. Breath. Upward facing dog. Chest through your arms. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward. Warrior one. It's one breath. Keep reaching. Keep expanding your variation. Chaturanga Dandasana. Plant your hands. Flow through. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left side. Feet, core, hands, like your full body expressing the pose. Chaturanga Dandasana. Left toes can hover. They probably can. Give up if you think they can't. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Give up what you must, yogis. What story do you have? I can't do that. I'm not flexible enough. I'm not strong enough. Check in. Whether you think you can or you think you can't, that's going to be true in your experience. Start trying to do the things you think you can't do. You'll start to get creative about ways to do them. Lift up onto your toes. Bend your knees. Better than being stuck in I can't. You're ready now for a change. Hop yogi. Halfway lift. Fold. Utkatasana. Sit as deep as you can. Uttanasana. Fold. Hug into your legs. Halfway lift. Integrate shoulders. Chaturanga Dandasana. Flow through. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right foot forward. Warrior one. Keep reaching up. Keep reaching back. Your belly muscles are strong. Chaturanga Dandasana. Breathe out. Flow. Up dog. Downward facing dog. Left side. Feet to fingers. Full body. Find that length. Chaturanga Dandasana. Float your toes. See what happens. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. You breathe. You reset. Breath as a tool to cool you down, to let go of tension, to remove resistance. Just get out of your head and into the physical experience of body and breath. Come up onto your toes. Bend your knees. Pause. Hug your muscles to the bones. Like build up that tension and then fly to the top of your mat. Halfway, right away. Fill up. Fold. Utkatasana. Your last one here, yogis. Sit deep. Lift up and then fold forward. Halfway lift. Chaturanga Dandasana. You can maybe hop back to low plank. Upward facing dog. Press the floor. Downward facing dog. Right side. Warrior one. Right hip bone back. Reach for the back of your mat. Chaturanga Dandasana. Flow with your breath. Upward. Press. Downward facing dog. Left side. Step forward. Reach. Lengthen. Chaturanga Dandasana. Float your toes, yogis. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. I need a sip of water. Talking through it. Take a breath in. Have water if you need it. And out. Always have water if you need it. If you're having water to avoid doing something you don't like doing, you're probably not that thirsty. It's my experience anyway. Take a breath in. Feet together at the back of your mat. Right foot up. Bend your knee and stack your hips open. Three-legged dog like we did earlier. You can stay right here. This is a great pose. For flip dog, as lightly as you can, let that top foot fall behind you. And then set the feet up so that they're parallel and hip distance. You want to ground your feet, lift your thighs. Take a breath in. Reach forward. Couple more. Inhale. Exhale. Hips up. Press your feet. Reach your fingers. One more breath in. Flip over to high plank. Side plank. So you're going to spin your heels to the right and take your left arm up. This bottom knee, the right knee can come to the ground. Okay, so this is a great option. You want to stack the wrists. So make sure you're not with your hand way out in front of you doing something like this. Okay, you want wrists, shoulders stacked. Press your knuckles of your right hand down. Lift the left leg up. Whether your knee's down or not, that's an option, right? Find that activation. Flex your feet. And then like in that moment of I can't, it's too much, be a yes for possibility, yogi. Take on the fullest expression that you've got, whatever that looks like, for 2 more breaths. Big lift, look up. Chaturanga Dandasana, flow it out. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Big breath in. Big breath out. Feet together. Left foot goes up. 3-legged dog. Feel that opening through the side body with control. You stay or you flip. Wherever you are, have control in your body, yogi. It's not about forcing form. It's not about forcing your body to look a certain way. It's being strong, being intentional, being a yes for your body. Whatever that feels like or looks like, breathe in. Stick out your tongue, lion's breath. Ha! High plank. Side plank. Other side. Start wherever you need to start. This is a flow. The flow is one of the tools. It's something you can tap into if you feel stagnant. You start looking for where there can be movement, where you can get interested in your body, get interested in the pose, get interested in possibility. 3 more breaths. Wherever you go, if it gets wobbly, that's okay. One side might look different than the other, yogis. Like mine, take a big breath in. Chaturanga Dandasana, flow. Keep the smile, it helps. Up dog, I promise. Downward facing dog. Take a breath in. Press your heels down. Lift your right foot up. Step your foot between your hands. Crescent lunge. Ha, lift your arms up. Wiping sweat like if you're blinded. Cool. Wiping sweat every 3 seconds because you don't like the sweat, because you don't want to do a pose. Check in, yogi. The sweat's going to come right back. If it gets in your eyes all the time, maybe you need a sweatband. Invest in one of those, right? Just trying to avoid the exit doors or trying to avoid the things that distract you from the practice. Reach up, hands to heart center and twist. So you'll hook your left elbow on your right knee. Option 1. Option 2, right hand on your low back, left hand on the outside of your knee. You can kind of leverage the twist. Of course, maybe not of course, back knee can be on the ground if you need that, right? So modifying for you. Taking on whatever your body needs. Lift your back heel. Wrap the right shoulder blade further back. 1 more, in and out. Warrior 2. Open it up. Sink into your front knee. So in Warrior 2, the hips are open to the side of the mat now. So you're going to open them up. Sink down so that your right knee is tracking over your ankle or just behind it. Okay, not inside too much, not outside too much. Lined up. Reach your fingertips. Do this. Feel that shoulders like lifting to the ears, right? Maybe you're already doing that. Don't do that, yogi. Let them melt down onto the back. Breathe in. Maybe you can go deeper. Trying to get that front thigh parallel to the floor if you can. Wake up the leg muscles. Press feet down. Hug skin to muscle, then muscles to bones. Breathe in here. Stay and hold it. Extended side angle. Right elbow can be on your knee. Right fingertips can be on the ground. This is probably the first place where a block is really, really helpful too. Do I need a block? No, I don't need a block, right? I can do this. But it just like that couple of inches, I feel that in my right side body, kind of crunch it up. If I put a block here, now I can lift up out of that. See all the space that opens up. Draw the top shoulder back. Keep the front knee nice and deep in the lunge. So we're here for about 5 more breaths. You can stay in this variation. Any variation. Half bind, you're gonna take left hand on your sacrum. Full bind, right hand reaches under your right thigh. Try to find your fingertips behind your back. We have about 3 more breaths for Birds of Paradise. If you do it, try it on. Step the back foot forward. Keep your bind really tight. You stand, you wobble, see what's possible. Full expression. Everybody, wherever you are, we'll all meet back in an extended side angle. Take another breath in together. Chaturanga Dandasana, float out. Right to low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot lifts up. You stay in the flow, yogi. Be a yes for this next pose right here. Crescent lunge. Lift the back heel. Breathe. It's hard to talk through this because I lose my breath. The breath for you, like just keep it fluid. Keep it intentional. Lift the back heel. Lift up out of your waist and then twist. Any variation, right? Whatever you need, you take it on. Do what your body needs. That's another. If you want to be like crazy yogi, pulse the back knee. It doesn't feel good in my body, but some people love that stuff, right? Twist. Breathe. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Lift your back heel, back kneecap, and then twist the upper body deeper. Warrior 2. Open up. Sink down into your front knee. So those themes of Baptiste Yoga, they come into play whenever you let them, right? And you start to bring them into your poses, like right here. Be a yes for going a centimeter deeper. How about that? For my American yogis, like, what is that, a 16th of an inch? 18th of an inch? Or an 1/8 of an inch? Sink deeper. The amount doesn't matter. That's the point, right? You go as deep as you can. Be a yes for some heat in your legs, a yes for some shaking, a yes for some like wonder if you're gonna be able to stay, but you do. Give up the I can't hold it. Give up the like Mike's being mean, Mike's staying too long, just give it up. And then you're ready for like the vitality to come in. The fire to like fan, invite it. Extended side angle. Any variation, find it. Keep upper body open across the front of the chest. So you're not dumping down, sinking into it. Keep open. Keep lifted. Grab your block. Don't forget to breathe. A couple more in and out. Reach up. And then if you want to flow through a variation, half bind, full bind, bird of paradise, there's a few more breaths. Possibility. If you've done this practice before and there's poses you think you can't do, try them today, yogi. See what happens. Wherever you are, come back to extended side angle. Everybody together, we take a breath in. Chaturanga Dandasana, you float up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Come up onto your toes. Bend your knees, look forward. Hop or step there. Halfway lift. And fold. Chair. I'm actually blinded by my sweat. That's why I keep wiping. Sit down nice and deep. Hands at the center of your chest. You're going to twist. So just like we did in the crescent lunge twist, it can be either hooking your left elbow on your right knee, or it can be right hand on your low back, left hand on your knee. Okay? Right knee. And you'll twist from there. The tendency for most yogis will be that left knee trying to pop forward a bit, drop back. Yeah, so you can see your knees are aligned. Breathe and twist. Inhale and exhale. Half, or not half, side crow is an option. If you practice it, today's not the day I'm doing workshopping. It's just more about possibility. So maybe hands come to the ground. Maybe you start to play with tipping your weights, coming off the floor, straightening your legs. Who knows what's possible today, yogi? You think you do, maybe, but if you don't check, you don't. Breathe in. Stay here. Last inhale. And release. Fold forward. Let the weight of your head go. Now let's rest. Right, this is the skill of yoga. like your nervous system. You're controlling it. You work, you challenge it to do something that it maybe doesn't want to do, but you're being a yes for it, right? Really being a yes for your body is listening in these moments of rest. What do you need? Where can you soften? What can you let go of? Like physical tension in a muscle, in a ligament, in a tendon. Tension in your mind. Something you have to do, something you have to say, something that you're thinking about. It might pop up. Let it go. That's tension too. Right here we're making, generating, cultivating, release. Fingertips to the floor. Big toes touch. Come back. True north alignment. So your toes touching, heels a bit apart. Your feet are parallel to the edges of your mat, okay? And then sit down in a chair. Hook your right elbow on your left knee. Or modification, if you need it. Your right knee might be trying to pop forward there. Ooh, draw it back. Yeah, keep them squared. Couple more breaths. Inhale. Shoulder blades wrap back. Breathe. And twist. Couple more. Stay here in it, yogis. You've got this. Go a little bit deeper. And release. Gorilla pose. So feet hip distance apart. Slide your palms underneath your feet. Let the crown of your head go. Really let go. The weight of the head, yeah, don't be holding it up. Try to let it go as much as you can. Long neck. Press your heels down, press your tailbone up. You can even start to shift forward a little bit, like more weight in your toes. If you can't get your hands under your feet, press the tops of your feet. This is a nice place for a block if you don't have quite that much mobility. Just let it go. I think I just missed scooping up our toes, so that's an option too. If you want to scoop up your big toes, you can do that, or really pull yourself into a nice deep fold. Let that tension in the neck go. What is it that you want to do in your yoga practice, in your life, that you've convinced yourself you can't do? Not me, too hard, maybe one day. Not as good as that person that can do it. I hear you. I've heard all those stories too. I still hear them. Like, just to be clear, my anxiety, my body dysmorphia, those things that I've gone through in my past, they're not gone. But I definitely have more awareness and then more control over the reaction to them. It starts from really just listening what you need in each breath of your yoga practice. Suddenly you're listening to what you need in each breath of your life. Crow. This pose, palms flat on the mat. Take your feet about a foot and a half, 30 centimeters. That's not the right conversion, but you know what I'm saying. Take it a little bit further back from your hands. And then come up onto your tippy toes. So your big toes are touching, your heels are touching, and then your heels come up off the ground, okay? And from here, you're gonna put your knees on the backs of your triceps. So the way that I got into this pose, because I thought I couldn't do it for a while, was taking a block, okay? So if you step on the block and lift your feet a bit higher off the ground, you're kind of already in the right position. If you do crow for years and you think you're amazing at it, and you probably are, but if you do it like out here, like this, with your knees squeezing for dear life on the outsides of your triceps, bring them into your armpits more, yogi. That's proper form, okay? It will feel a little bit tender if you've never done that before. If you can't come off the ground with your knees in your armpits, but you can do crow for 20 breaths with your knees on the outsides of your triceps, you have some amazing work to put into your practice, yogi. Yeah, and if you're already in crow and you're like, keep talking, yeah, go, you stay. If you've come out, you come back. 5 breaths. Any variation. Starting to play with lifting toes up, maybe straightening arms, heels to bum, squeezing, pressing. Take a breath in. Stay for the breath out. One more breath, yogi. Chaturanga Dandasana, step or shoot back. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. And let your knees. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Come up onto your toes. Bend. Step forward. Halfway lift. Fold. Sweep up. Take eagle on the right side. Take water whenever you need it. If you feel a little queasy, sometimes a sip of water can help too. You feel out of breath, dry mouth, have some water, Yogi, okay? If you don't like the pose, check in if you're actually thirsty. Take a breath in, sink deeper. Switch sides. Depending on the day, my brain will try to trick me sometimes in this practice. Well, you don't want to be like, you like worked out your arms yesterday, so you don't need to do chaturanga today. Like, okay, sounds really convincing. Your brain can have a great argument sometimes. Switch sides. Right arm under, right leg over, eagle. Your brain is arguing to empower you. Oh, you can do that. Just try. Like, who cares if you look like a fool? Who cares if we fall out? Maybe we'll learn something new, right? That story you want to listen to. Tap into it. That's good. Sweep up. Left side, eagle. That stale old story of I can't, I don't want to, that's too hard, that person's better than me, so why bother trying? That's BS, Yogi. Until you start believing it's BS, you're going to live from it. Take a breath in, sink deeper, sweep up, standing leg raise. Just to show you from the front, you can grab onto your knee, okay, and then open to the side. So this is an option here. It can also be reaching for the big toe. So you can actually be here and just holding your foot, right? You don't have to straighten your leg. This is like the first step to getting your leg straight. Option to straighten. I'll stay here because if I turn, I'm going to kick my foot through the window. So just a few more breaths in and out. Lift the crown of the head. Lengthen out. Open the pose as much as you can. Take a big inhale. And then bring your foot back to center. Okay, now I need to turn. Whoop. Lift your toes up. Fly the airplane. Press your right heel straight back. And just check that you're not turning your right toes out to the right side of your mat. You want to turn the pinky toe on that foot down to the floor. And your right hip bone as well. And you use your arms like wings, like balance here. Reach back. Press the floor with your left foot. Lift up into your core. The pose goes higher. Hands to heart center. Half moon. Reach for a block that's nearby. Any prop to bring the floor closer. This is where you can start here. Right fingertips up. Lift your right ankle to the ceiling. Your toes are turned out now towards the right side of the mat, the room, the backyard, wherever you are. Lift your ankle. Reach your fingers. Take a breath in. Maybe your fingers can hover. Maybe you've got chow pasta and a sugar cane. Maybe not. That's okay. Fold forward, feet together. Good work. Halfway lift. Fold. I'm telling myself that, right? You do the same, Yogi. Reach up. Other side. Standing leg raise. So again, grabbing the knee, grabbing the big toe. Check in with your body. What does it have available? One side might be different than the other. Don't judge it. Don't get frustrated if something just worked and then the other side doesn't have it, right? Our bodies aren't perfectly even, most of us, almost all of us, right? There's like preferences from which side you use more. So just be open to it being different. Possibility. Lengthen. Extend your variation, whatever you've got, and come back to center. Lift the toes up. Balance here. Airplane pose. Fly back. Roll your shoulders on your back. Breathe in. Breathe out. Couple more. Press. Lift your chest. Integrate your shoulders. Take a big breath in. Hands to heart center. Open to your half moon. Grab your block if you need it. Lengthen. Up through your top fingers. Lift your ankle. Maybe lift your bottom fingers. Maybe grab for your top ankle. Who knows what's possible? Breathe in. And release. Fold forward. Sweep all the way up. You keep moving, yogi. Next breath, dancer's pose. Grab the inside of your right foot. Kick back into your hands. Chest forward. Gaze forward, right? So you're not tipping down to go higher with that back foot. And you're keeping your hips closed, so keep that right knee in towards center. Go higher if you can. Take a breath in. Switch sides. Dancer. You definitely have a little bit different mobility from side to side, right? On one side, my knee is tighter. It's got limited mobility. That's truth. How it holds me back, that's all in my head. Yes, sometimes I have less range of motion. That is fact. Less possibility, that's not a fact. Unless I decide it is. Take a breath in and release. Do dancer again on the right side. So I'm going to do a modification here. You can take wrap around grip here. I do have a back bend workshop where I show this back in my YouTube channel. Go check it out. Dancer's pose, modification, variation. Lift your chest, squeeze in. 2 more, inhale, exhale. Sometimes I can get it to my head, who knows? Yes, and release. Switch sides, dancer on your left. Switch, dancer's pose, possibility, expansion, open it up. 3 breaths, inhale, chest forward, lift, squeeze, take 1 more breath, and release. Whew, tree pose. They're commenting, I want to make sure there's still sound. Okay, good. Happy Pride, love it. Happy Pride, everyone. Tree pose. Options here. Kickstand, inner calf, or inner thigh, yeah? Also half lotus. These are 4 options, okay? So half lotus, you're pressing kind of your ankle into your opposite hip crease. If I let go of my foot, it's going to come down there a little bit. This still builds a lot of stability. So this is an option. Hands at heart center, right? If it's slipping, don't get frustrated. Just come into a different variation, yogi. Grow your tree. Yes. Like right here. Give up the fixation on wobble. Give up the fixation of how tree looked yesterday, last week, 10 years ago, in your mind in the future, right? Like right here, let it flow. Let it open. Possibility, expansion, right? You choose the variation in each moment, yogi. Big breath in and release. Switch sides, tree. They can look different, right? The activation here of pressing your foot and your leg into each other. Connect that. Belly to spine. Shoulder, integration. Feel the center of your chest lifting. And then just allow yourself to flow. Grow your tree. Steady gaze. Steady breath. Roots into the earth from that bottom foot. Inner ankle back. Outer ankle down. Wake up the mounds of your toes. Take a breath in and release. Sweep your arms up to the ceiling, yogi, and then fold forward. Halfway lift. High plank to low. Upward facing dog. Press the floor. Downward facing dog. Right foot forward, warrior 1. Reach up. Open to warrior 2. Straighten out the front leg. Trikonasana, triangle pose. An amazing place for the block. Okay, so just taking it just outside your front foot, so on the pinky toe side, not inside, outside of your foot, okay? And then bring your fingertips down. Again, stacking shoulders and wrists. Okay, so not like this, right? If you're anything, you're gonna bring your hand back a bit further, so as you do a back bend, you're keeping yourself more or less stacked. Breathe. Lean into it. Couple more. Twist. Reach. Press your feet, wake up your inner thighs. Look to your top hand. On your next breath in, pull yourself up to stand, yogi. Turn your toes in. Hands to your hips. And then lift up your chest nice and high. Fold over your legs. You don't have to do that weird thing I just did. I don't know. That's like a habit from being in a yoga studio with people's bums right beside you. There's probably not that where you are. Who knows? Let your upper body go. You can grab your ankles. You can walk your hands back through your legs. Whatever feels nice. If you practice a headstand, go for it. There's also a headstand workshop on my channel, so you can check that out if you're in the practice of headstand. Like if you can't do it safely today, it's not about forcing something that might cause injury, yogis, but it's checking in. Worry about how to get your head close. Well, don't worry. Focus on how to get your head closer to the floor. Don't worry about it. And then check out the workshop. Practice at home. Play with it. Figure out what's possible actually, instead of that's impossible and just ending the conversation in your mind. Headstands come down. Everybody walk your hands over towards your right foot. You'll turn your toes to face the front of your mat and step your back foot in about a third of the way. Okay, so back foot in just close enough that you can get the heel on the ground. You don't want to be like way up, heel off the floor. You also don't want to be with your feet just like 2 inches apart. There's no stretch. I lost it completely. So step back, press into the heels. Turn your inner ankles back. Feel that activation. Outer ankles down. So let your upper body go. Pull your right hip bone back. So a little bit more activation in the legs. Halfway lift. Twisted triangle. Left fingers to your right foot. Another great place for the block. Inside, in front, outside. That's your choice, yogi. Wherever you can find some space here to lengthen. So your upper body lengthens. Wrap the right shoulder blade back for the twist. Maybe right fingertips to the ceiling. Try it on. See what happens. Press your feet. Draw your right hip bone back. Inner ankles draw back. Take a breath in. Breath out. Inhale. Hands to your mat. Chaturanga Dandasana. Flow through. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot. Warrior one. Warrior two. Straighten out the front leg. Trikonasana. Grab your block. Put it wherever you can or wherever you need it. Should have said on the other side. If you have no prop whatsoever, if you need to use your leg, which some people do, it's not like gripping your leg and dumping into it, okay? You want to make sure that you're just pressing the palm into your shin and you're really pressing your shin up into your palm. That's even more important. Keep activation in the legs. Inner thighs, squeeze them. Breathe in. Wrap your right shoulder back. Look up. Stay in twist. Soften your knees. Come all the way up to stand. Left toes turn in. Hands interlaced at your back. Do that. Press your knuckles down to the floor. Fold forward. Now I actually do have to go like this or I'll hit the curtain. Bend in the elbows can feel nice. Okay, so this is an option. You can lock out your elbows. If you need a strap or a towel, you might think you need it because you lock out your elbows, which then I feel that right away. It makes my shoulders all crunch up into the back of my neck. If there's a little bend in the elbows, immediately that crunch is gone. My fist doesn't get up as high, but I'm not adding in pinching and crunching and tension because that's not really the point of this practice ever, yogi. It's not like to where can I add more like, well, I guess sometimes tension, that's wrong, but not pinching, not crunching, those kind of things. You don't want to feel that. A little tension's okay in the right spot, but put the tension where it counts. Lift your inner thighs up. Press the outer edges of your feet down. Tailbone to the ceiling. Yogis, wake up your legs. Hold here. Come up to stand. Toes forward. Step the back foot in. You can take a reverse namaste or keep the bind on this side if you want. So front facing. Reverse namaste. Pyramid fold here. Draw the left hip bone back. Let the crown of the head go. If you're in the reverse namaste, press your palms together. Fingertips up towards the nape of your neck. Breathe. Let your head go. Fingertips to the mat, almost fell out. Bliss there. Twist. Twisted triangle. So you're going to take your block if you need it, which you probably do. Most yogis will. To your left foot with your right hand, okay? And then draw that right shoulder back. Reach your, sorry, that was a left shoulder back. Left fingertips up. Press your feet. Left hip bone back. Inner ankles back. Feel that activation of your full body, full expression. Take a breath in, look up, stand twist. Hands to your mat. High plank. Low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Come forward to high plank. Lower all the way down to your belly. Right away, locust pose. Reach your arms back. Wrap your shoulder blades onto your back. You're going to lift up chest, arms, legs. Activate the inner thighs. Activate your core muscles. Uddiyana Bandha, belly button, scoops to your ribs. Interlace your hands. Stay lifted. Bound locust pose. Press the knuckles back. Open the front of your chest. Your collarbones higher. Take a big breath in, yogi, even higher, and then let it go. Come down. Take one cheek to your mat. Sway your hips from side to side. And we'll do floor bow. Bend your knees. Grab the outsides of the ankles. So floor bow, you don't even have to come up that much, right? If all you can do is barely grab your ankles, then kicking back here, you might just be somewhere like this. And just a quick half floor bow demo, if you don't know that already. You can straighten out one side, just take a forearm in front of you, and it can look more like that. If you want to do half on each side, right, you would just switch. If you're in floor bow, just keep it. Keep kicking. Right, but wherever you are, grabbing the outsides of your ankles, you're going to kick back. Think about your shin bones kicking further and further back, right? Like the front of your body lifts with that leverage. Core muscles supporting the back. Take a breath in, even higher. And release, come down. Windshield wipe your legs from side to side. And go back up. Second one, right? The first one's like a practice one. You might have a story. You might kind of hold back. Then the next one, like possibility. Whatever you left in the past, take it here. Go bigger. Lift higher. Breathe in and release down. Upward facing dog. Stay in your flow, yogi. Don't sleep. Downward facing dog. And let your knees. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Come up onto your toes. Bend your knees. Bend, 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 bend. Come all the way down to the floor. We'll take camel pose. So camel pose, curling the toes under or pointing them, that's personal preference. Curled under, I think, is kind of the alignment that we encourage, but it's whatever feels better for you. Hands in your back pockets to start. Start to lift up through the chest. Gently press the hips forward so your core is engaged. Your belly is strong. You might reach for your heels here. Take a breath in. Opening the chest, opening the throat, as long as you can breathe, as long as you can talk. Maybe don't talk, just breathe, lift. Open up your neck and your throat. Take one more inhale and gently come up. You can sit on your heels here. Sitting on my heels is not comfortable. I can use a block, that's an option. All right, so just taking a couple breaths, a moment here of rest, of recharge. In and out. Come back up. We're doing another one. Same pose we just did, maybe a different experience. If you're very flexy, if you've got the back bendy, took me a long time to open this up. Kapotasana, you're going to keep reaching back and you'll come all the way to the floor. Maybe. Who knows? Come down. Lift your chest wherever you are. Press your hips forward. Open the front of the body. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Slowly come back up. Move down onto your back. We'll take bridge. Bridge pose. Option for a block. The first time I held wheel for a long time was after a nice long bridge. Resting on a block. This can be so nice to open up a tight back. So even if wheel's like, maybe really actually, again, like your range of motion, your mobility doesn't allow it. This can be so nice for just removing some tension in that area of your body where you're tight. I did a flow, I think a couple weeks ago now. That was like an extended wheel flow. So if you want to learn more back bending, I think I did wheel for just over 5 minutes in that one. Was that just over 5? Possibility. When I started this practice, bridge was a little uncomfortable. I didn't think wheel was even available. Things change, yogis. If you believe they can change, they'll change. If you believe that they can't, that's what will happen. Nothing. Go up, wheel, hands by your ears, press the floor, lift yourself up. The prescription here is 6 wheels, so I'll give you the spoiler. We're in number 1, and you're going to take each one like it's the only one, okay, yogi? So instead of a story of I'll save up energy, well, I'll do that in a couple of them, or you don't want to wait, I might not be strong enough, I'm going to be too tired. Take a breath in, come down or stay. Your choice. Breathe in and breathe out. Go back up, wheel number 2. And right away, you're in it, or you're already in it. You're breathing, your feet pressing, your chest lifting. And if it's bridge, that's amazing, yogi. Do a powerful bridge. Come down or stay. Breathe in and breathe out. Go back up. This is number 3. You're almost halfway there. Possibility. You take on whatever's here for you in this moment. Breathe in. Breathe out. Lift up. Stay or come down. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. You've got it, yogi. We're at number 4. Past halfway there. Take on bridge or wheel. Wheel, wheel, wheel. If you can do wheel, then take it on. Be a yes. Stay here or come down. Give up the story that you have to give up, yogi. What is stopping you? What is keeping you from the biggest, fieriest, shakiest possible experience? Go up. Number 5. If your wrists are hurting, press your knuckles down more. Make sure that you're not putting just tension in the wrists. 2 breaths in and out. Lift yourself up. And then you can stay or come down. We've got 1 more. Give yourself the pep talk. You can do it. You are ready right now for your biggest back bend. Go up, yogi, wheel. Breathe in and breathe out. Any variation you play. Possibility. Curiosity. You see what is here for you right now, yogi. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. 1 more inhale. Come all the way down. Whew. Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of your feet together. Right hand on your belly, left hand on your heart. Slow yourself down. Right, like agitation. I just stayed up that whole time. My body pumping. Feel my heartbeat. It's there. Feel the sweat. And now feel the cool air, cooling the sweat on my skin, right? Because I'm not working. That's okay. There's still work to happen here, yogi. Spread your right hand on your belly. Spread your left hand on your heart and just start to feel your breath. Hear it. A moment to recharge. Bring back strength, which means bring back breath. If your breath is strong, then your practice is going to be strong, regardless of what the poses look like. If you're just a yes for breathing intentionally and powerfully, break through in your yoga practice if you actually commit to that. Hug your knees into your chest. Squeeze. Happy baby. Grab the outsides of your feet. Soles of your feet face the ceiling. Rock from side to side. Your face faces the ceiling too. And then just a gentle rock. Try to focus. Don't try. Do that. Focus on pressing your low back into the floor. Your tail going down. Just a release in the tension there. Just did back bends. That's where you were working. Feet up to the ceiling. Bring your hands under your low back. I promised you journey into power. That includes this fiery core a little bit. We got to do it, right? Breathe in. Lower down a third. Hands under your low back, supporting your tailbone. Inhale. Lower down a third. Take a breath in. Lower down a third. Look at your toes. Flex your pinky toes back towards your face, and then get your shoulders like lifted. You can bring them right up off the mat if you want. That's more work. 2 more breaths right here, just holding. Activation. Feet, core. Squeeze. Inhale your feet up. Lower down a third. Pinky toes back. Press your heels forward, lower down a third. Breathe in. 1 inch off the mat. Look at your toes. Lift your shoulders. Point your toes in the like you're swimming. Flutter kick. Yeah. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Control. Belly. Engagement. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Feet go up. Flex your toes down. Take a breath in. Lower down a third. Last one here. Inhale. Down a third. Heels wide. Press your big toes into each other. 1 inch off the mat. 3, 2 inches off the mat. Wherever it lands. Make little circles here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Other direction. 5, 4, 3. Little circles with your feet. 2 and 1. Hug your knees in. Give yourself a squeeze. Do that. Breathe in. Let out the breath. Hands behind your head. Feet up to the ceiling. Lift your shoulders up a little bit, and then you'll lower the right heel 1 inch off the mat. Scissor legs for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Keep your feet active, pressing through your heels. 2 and 1. Knees bent, shins parallel to the floor. In bicycle twist, never bring your knees any closer to your chest than this. So it's not coming up here like this, okay? You want to keep the knees over the hips as you move through this. We'll do 30 bicycle twists for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hug your knees in. Open your mouth, sigh it out. Grab the backs of your knees, rock front to back a few times. Come up to Navasana, boat pose, balancing on the tailbone. 5 breaths here, any variation. You can have heels down, fingers supporting, still lifting chest, engaging core. Any variation that you've got, take it on. Possibility, wherever variation of boat pose you're in, your chest is lifting up, your shoulders are drawing back, and your belly button is lifting into your ribs. Breathe in. Breathe out. Play with where you can go. Yogi, possibility, like be a yes right here. And release, rock back. Downward facing dog, however you get there. Pedal out your knees. Wiggle out your shoulders. Lift your right foot up. Bring it through to half pigeon on the right side. Settle in here. Sink down. If you need the prop, you can put it underneath the back of your right hip here. It can be a rolled up towel even. That might be enough for some of you. If you just want a little bit of support. Trying to avoid dumping that right hip down onto the floor. Keep it stable. Back toes curled under. And you breathe. This moment, just allowing there to be ease. Right? Like some of you out there, this might be bliss for you. Like, oh, thank God, it's hips. We can stop moving so much. I got through the hard part, right? I'm putting hard in air quotes there for you. And like for you, maybe it was the hard part. And for some other people, myself included, much more when I started this practice than now, but this is more challenging, right? Stillness. Keeping your thoughts here. And like really the first step is putting some importance on doing that. Like it matters to stay present. It matters to you that you actually keep your thoughts grounded in your yoga practice. Because if it doesn't matter to you, you'll get a workout. That'll happen. But it's not really a yoga practice. Sweep your back leg around. Remove the block. Seated single leg extension. So your left foot's at like 10 o'clock, right foot to your inner thigh. Fold over your left leg. like really getting present to the experience, the physical, like the visceral experience that you're in on your mat. That's part of this practice. It's not just putting your body in the form of the pose and then thinking about what you've got to do this afternoon. Switch sides. Half pigeon on your left. You can take a flow through, or you can just sweep your legs around. Your call. Set it up. If you need the block, or if you just want the block today, sometimes it's not even a need, right? If your body's like, oh, a little support would feel nice, maybe you never do it. Maybe all of a sudden it's a miracle for you. Getting more awareness around those places you can get stuck in this practice, right? Like you think you know the pose, you think you've already got it down, so you just kind of throw your body into that physical form that you learned 5 years ago, 2 months ago. And then give yourself permission to wander in thought. Like, okay, I've done the pose, I'm a good yogi, it's here, form is correct. You know, again, air quotes, correct is all relative. There's always potential for something else. Stagnation is what you want to avoid above all else in this practice. You can be perfectly still and not be stagnant. Stagnant is like that stale feeling in your thoughts, the experience of the pose. If it's boring, if it's stale, then bring more vitality. Get curious. It's your responsibility to keep yourself interested in your practice, yogi. Seated single leg extension. I'm just here trying to guide you through. I mean, realistically, if we're being honest on a live stream, I'm just teaching this practice to myself right now, right? I can't see what you're doing. Different than Zoom classes, right? But like just giving the cues that fit for my body. And that's the beauty of Baptiste Yoga, is this methodology, this practice, the physicality of it. It's universal. Fold over the right leg. I teach at Power Yoga Canada. We've got, I think, about 12, 13 locations. I might be wrong now. We've got a lot of locations. They're starting to open up around Toronto and Ontario. And in our community, seated forward fold. We do seated forward folds. That's one thing. But in our community, we have students from the ages of, I think, 6. I mean, not including our little pretzels. I'm talking 6 does this whole practice. Fold over your legs. All the way up into their 80s. One of our volunteers at our studio, Barb, I'm not going to make up her age, but she's in her early 80s, if I'm not mistaken, her late 70s, and she like kills this whole practice. Inspirational. I'm going to move into reverse tabletop here. So bring your hands underneath your shoulders. And then options here, reverse plank or reverse tabletop. They're both kind of available to, or sorry, either one that's available to you. So in reverse plank, you're going to lift up with the legs straight, start to press down through the mounds of the toes, inner ankles back. Or reverse tabletop, ankles underneath your knees, and from there you push the hips up. Yeah, and imagine you're making a tabletop. Let somebody serve dinner off your belly there. Breathe. Keep that engagement through glutes, thighs, soften the elbows. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. One more, lift your chest up, and then gently come down. We'll take fish. Fish pose options here. So you bring your fingertips underneath the top of your bum cheeks, and then you're going to come onto your forearms. Okay, so this is the basic variation of the alignment of the pose. Your feet, heels together, they can kind of fall open if that feels nice. Just let them kind of go, your legs. So as you lift your chest, integrate your shoulders, pull them back. You can start to open up the front of your chest. You might be able to wiggle to the point your head comes towards the ground, like it can be something like this, keeping chest lifting, open through the throat. Full expression in this pose. If you want to take it on, if you've got an open back, you'll take the crown of your head all the way to the ground. And then you take your hands up above your body, pointing your fingers to the ceiling. Keep lifting through your chest, engage through your core, and then the legs will come up as well. It's just full expression of fish. 3 breaths in and out. Keep strong in core, active, hugging to center. Take a big breath in, chest higher, and release, gently come down. Can't skip our frog pose, okay? So we're gonna do that. Frog pose is a big hip opener. I love this pose. It's not everybody's experience of this pose. Actually, I'm just gonna adjust the camera a little bit because we're not gonna be standing up anymore. Let's go like that. Setting up for frog. So if you need some extra padding under your mat, you can either roll it up like lengthways for some padding, or some people like to roll the ends in to get underneath your knees. I'm on carpet. I don't really need that right now. So knees nice and wide, okay? Setting up here so you've got like a 90-degree angle. There's a bend at the hip, bend at the knee. Flex your feet out so you're not pointing your toes behind you. Okay, you want them flexed to the sides. And then come down. This can be a block underneath your chest. I can't reach it, but you can put a block underneath your chest, underneath your pelvis. You might be like, frog pose can be up here on your hands, yogi. This might be your frog pose, okay? This might be your frog pose. This might be your frog pose. Whatever it looks like, let yourself settle in. Focus here. Try to keep the hips in line with the knees, okay? So don't let them come too far in front or too far behind. You're gonna move the stretch to something else. Just settle in. If this is, again, physically not possible, like actually I know that that is a 100% true for some people, you can do this same pose on your back. I'm going to demo that. If you're sitting there in agony waiting for me to be done with frog pose because you think you can't do it, change the story, yogi, be a yes. Give up what you must about frog pose. So coming onto your back, it's the same thing, okay? The same form of the pose, same stretch happening, it's just less intense. You can have your hands on your inner thighs here, hands to the outer knees. But again, 90-degree bend at the hip, the knee, the ankle, and just rest. Just breathe. And this right here, the experience that you're in, the thoughts that flow through your consciousness, that's the practice. It's not stopping them. It's not avoiding the sensations. It's not coming out because you don't like how it feels. If you're in pain, then you come out. That's different. You never want to be in pain. But if it's an uncomfortable stretch, a deep stretch, like muscles shaking, tension that you're building strength, be in it. Stay through it. Like life experience. For me, I found out through my yoga practice more than ever that when I run away from discomfort, that it's always there waiting. If you run from the pose, every time a teacher calls the pose, you're going to hate it. You're going to get angry that they called it. You'll blame them for ruining your practice. And it's all on you, yogi. Change the story. You stay for a millisecond longer than that I can't story in your brain, success. Even if you come out after that millisecond, you succeeded. You stayed through the I can't story. And even if you only have proof for a millisecond that you can stay, it's a millisecond of proof. It's better than just assuming and giving up before you even make any attempt. A couple more breaths. And in your next breath, you're going to very slowly come out. If you're flipped over, like if you're in full expression, gently bring your knees together. If you're on your back, gently bring your knees together. And then you will move into an inversion, yogi. Press your heels up to the ceiling. For all my Baptiste yogis out there, I'm pretty sure that I messed up the sequence there a little bit. Not that anybody cares, but this is the one spot where I always get mixed up a little bit with those poses. So we're here now together again. Bring your hands under your low back. Perfectly imperfect. That's another one of like the mottos of just Baptiste yoga. It's okay to be imperfect. That's perfect. You're human. I've been teaching this flow for what now, 5.5 years, a little bit over, and it's still, sometimes there's that little kind of gap in your brain. Sometimes, you know, things slip. Like you're good at controlling your emotions. You're good at responding instead of reacting, and then one thing throws you off, right? You snap at somebody. You judge yourself really harshly. Right? That right there, yeah, that's damaging a little bit, right? It's you know, you're harming yourself, you're harming someone else. That's one of the pillars of yoga in general, is just non-harming. If you're in shoulder stand, up here you can move through plow. Forgot to give you the option, or deaf man's pose. Practice opening up possibility. You might have dragged stories with you for years about things you think you can and can't do. And then you prove they're wrong. Your yoga practice. Bring your feet back down to the ground. Take your time. Extend your left leg. Draw your right knee into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze there. Cross over your body with your knee. Supine twist. So right knee to the left side of your mat. Keep your right shoulder on the ground. You start to prove limiting beliefs wrong in your yoga practice. And then I know for me, my experience was I started to challenge them elsewhere in my life, right? I think I can't do a yoga pose. And then, what do you know? Lo and behold, 2 months later, I can start to do it. And 6 months later, I can do it pretty good. And a year later, I can do it really good. And a year after that, I can do an advanced variation. And it's an evolution. Come back to center. Switch sides. Left knee in. Right? And you challenge those limiting beliefs in your yoga practice. You're a yes for taking on new things. You're a yes for stepping out of your comfort zone. You give up those limiting beliefs that you must give up to be able to do something new. And then in that moment is when you're ready. Like when you actually take on those first two themes, you're a yes, you give up what you must, that's when you're ready, right then, for something different, right? And that can be in a yoga pose, that can be in a conversation with somebody, in a situation that you're avoiding. Step into the discomfort, step into the uncomfortable situation, and on the other side, it doesn't have the same power over you. You've empowered yourself. Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of your feet together, knees wide. You take your right hand on your belly, your left hand on your heart. Close your eyes. Just before we move into the final pose of Shavasana, of corpse pose, letting yourself land. Shavasana is some people's worst nightmare pose. I'll raise my hand there without raising it for myself included for a long, long time. I love Shavasana now. I hate it. And I'll use the word hate, which I rarely use. Back then, that word was accurate for how I felt about it. I hated my knee, I hated parts of my body, and I hated certain poses. I just allowed that to be my experience. Hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze. Big, big squeeze. And then release. Shavasana, close your eyes, corpse pose. We started in child's pose, we end in corpse pose, the full cycle, a journey into power, your whole body activated, your vitality. And now it's just allowing for rest. Right? After all of that work you did, physically, mentally, you just did a lot of mental work too. Just embodying stillness. Physically avoiding the fidgeting. You don't have to scratch, you don't have to wiggle your fingers, you don't have to fix your hair or adjust your shirt. Your body's not, level or feels pinching or uncomfortable, then you adjust that, but it's different than fidgeting. You can fidget in your mind as well. You can choose to bring up that to-do list. Go over all of your grievances. Lots of different options for what can take up the space in your mind right here. Another option is the sound of your breath. Quiet and natural, but intentional. Focus on the air on your skin, sweat that might be there, your cool yoga clothes, the earth supporting you. Physicality of that air moving, the hairs in your nostrils. You can dial into this moment so deeply that there's no space for anything else. And it's just blissful rest. Allow yourself to rest. Your mind wanders. There's no judgment. There's no time wasted in dwelling. You just come back. That next breath. Deep rest. Take a full breath in. Open your mouth, let that air pour out. And you'll wiggle your fingers and toes. Reach up over your head, yogis, eyes still closed. Lengthen from fingertips to toes. And then you'll roll onto your right side. Take fetal position, knees to your chest. Mr. B's crump today, that's good. And just rest. Head on your bicep just for a couple breaths. Not rushing the end of the practice after all that commitment you've made. Just let it wind down with ease. And slowly come up to sit. Keep your eyes closed, sitting up tall, comfortably, with dignity. Hands at the center of your chest. Lift your chest up to your thumbs. And as we began, we'll finish this practice together with one Om. Take a breath in. Thumbs to the center of your forehead. The love and the light and the fire and the glitter and the rainbows in me acknowledges all of that in each and every one of you out there. I thank you for practicing with me today. Happy Pride. Together we bow and we say, Namaste. Thank you so much, yogis. If you were out there live with me, thank you. I'm going to come check the chat in a second. And if you were watching this later, happy Pride. Please share this. If you know anybody out there in the LGBTQIA+ community that you think could be empowered, please share this with them. Okay, this practice has changed my life. I gave up my corporate work to start teaching yoga and sharing this with people because it made me a better person and a stronger person physically and mentally. So, tap into your yoga practice in this time of isolation. This is a way to stay in a community, even if it's through online videos. I'm here with you, moving with you and breathing with you. Stay connected to your yoga practice. Keep nourishing yourself, healthy, delicious food. And I will see you again really soon. I'm going to come check out the chat. Happy Pride. I had a really creepy unicorn mask that I was going to put on, and I think it's probably better that I didn't. There might be a post of that later on coming up to social media. Have an awesome rest of your day. It was so nice to see you, and I will see you again really soon.